Everyone talks about the easy ways to build AI agents, but here's what really happens behind the scenes. You've probably seen the thumbnails. I made 10K in a week with AI, or this one prompt changed everything. I saw them too, and I asked myself, how hard could this really be? If you're a beginner, I want to show you everything that I wish someone had shown me. The confusion, the little mistakes, and all of the hard-won wins. Not just to complain, but so you can shortcut my pain to get further faster. But before we get to the wins, let me show you how lost I was on day one. Honestly, I thought just because I had a ChatGPT account meant I had access to an OpenAI API key. I was very wrong. I spent hours clicking buttons trying to figure out what to do. Looking back, this is one of the many issues that I look back and laugh on. Some of the other ones aren't so laughable. And this is only the first roadblock, because once you get access, this is where the real struggle begins. If you want to know what real beginner pain looks like, let me paint you a picture. My routine looked a little like this: 9 to 5 at work, quick dinner at home, and then sitting at my desk troubleshooting until about 1 a.m. I would just sit at my desk for hours trying to get my Make.com scenarios to work and my voice AI agents to function correctly. But many of the time, they just didn't. I bounced from tutorial to tutorial, hoping that the next one would solve all my issues. But what I felt was the more I tried to force progress, the more lost I was. YouTube makes it look like there's always an easy way, but in reality, anything worth having would be difficult at times. And the lowest point, it wasn't just about being stuck. It was about grinding away at the same issue over and over again, too stubborn to try a different approach. The hardest part wasn't just a technical issue. It was the mental drain of doing something over and over again and feeling like you had nothing to show for it. When I was building my first voice agent in Vappy, I would come home and sit at my desk for what felt like 8 hours trying to understand dynamic variables. It felt like I was on a treadmill, running and running, but getting nowhere. The worst part was crossing my fingers every time I ran a scenario, hoping it would work. Spoiler alert, it rarely did. And on the odd chance that it did, another problem would arise right after, making me feel like I made zero progress at all. To be completely transparent, this was the lowest point in my journey. I'd ask myself, is this worth it? Should I just take the safe route and spend the summer preparing for university? After taking a few days away from building, my answer became clearer and clearer. Every hour spent away from my laptop, I'd be thinking how I could optimize my workflow or make my prompt more effective. It turns out the time away from building is what led me to see results once again. Once I started building automations again, everything just seemed to flow. If I ran into a roadblock, I was calm and focused on solely solving the issue, so that if I ran into it again, I would know how to do it best. The real breakthrough didn't come from just working harder. As cliche as it sounds, working smarter was the name of the game. I took a step back and decided to switch from using Vappy to retail, and that's where I saw the most results. I enjoy building on both platforms, but for my use case, it made more sense for me to use some of the native retail tools, like the check calendar availability and book calendar appointments, where if I were to use Vappy, I would have to make those tools myself and connect it to a backend like Make.com. When my agent finally worked, I can't describe how good it felt. It wasn't just about making money, it was about the fact that something I built finally worked the way it was supposed to. I immediately told my brother to try it out and showed everyone around me. And that moment gave me the power I need to keep pushing forward. Here's a part most people online skip over. Building voice AI agents is hard. You'll hear about the latest tool that does everything for you, or a creator selling you the dream. But the truth is, the learning curve is real, and it's not always fun or glamorous. For me, the biggest shock was understanding how important foundational knowledge really is. The tools do help a lot, but there's no replacement for the basics. If you skip the fundamentals, you end up spending twice as long fixing mistakes later down the line. Nobody really talks about the emotional side. How frustrating it can be when you hit a wall, and how your pride can keep you stuck on an approach that doesn't work just because you're scared of starting over. I get it, I lived it, and I wish someone had told me that this stuff takes time. The stuff you see on YouTube, most of the time, they're just highlight reels. So if you're a beginner, here's what I have to tell you to keep you from feeling stuck. If I could go back to day one, here's exactly what I would tell myself or anyone in the same position as me so that they don't waste any time. First, don't rush. It's tempting to want fast results quick, but building real skills take time. It's easy to see people's success online and think you have to do the same, but in reality, it's not like that. Second, build something real as soon as possible. Don't just watch tutorials. The best way to learn is by making mistakes and learning how to fix them. Third, don't let your ego keep you stuck. If you're forcing something that isn't working, take a step back, ask for help, or try a new tool. Fourth, learn the basics. Don't skip over things just because they seem boring or slow. Understanding core concepts like how API works and what's happening behind the scenes will save you hours of work in the long run. And finally, remember, everyone struggles with this at the beginning. You're not broken, you're just learning. And if you're in the middle of it right now, frustrated, and maybe even thinking about quitting, just know you're a lot closer to a breakthrough than you think. 2 months in, I'm still figuring things out. I still haven't landed a paying client yet, but these last few weeks I've learned more than I thought possible. The confidence I have now didn't come from some large win. It came from getting back up every time I was knocked down. If you're watching this and you're on your own path, just know that it's supposed to be uncomfortable at times, and progress isn't always a straight line. Some days it'll feel like you're moving backwards, but you're not. You're just building resilience. My goal is to keep showing the real side of building AI, not just the wins, but the setbacks and everything in between. If you're new or if you've been stuck, I'd like to hear your story and questions in the comments. If you want more honest updates about what it's really like to build an AI automation agency in 2025, then subscribe. I'll make sure to keep sharing the real story.